back again. I said I was a bulk recording, so here's the third video, also recorded on the same day as the Evil All the Time and Obi-Wan video. So yeah, but another thing I want to talk to you about, obviously I said in the last video that I only sort of talk about things that are a bit more under the radar, because why would you want to watch a video about Breaking Bad if you've already seen Breaking Bad? You want to watch a video about stuff you've kind of never heard of before, or may have never heard of before. However, this universe and TV show, just like Obi-Wan and Star Wars, is too precious to me not to talk about. I'll probably say Breaking Bad and the Better Call Saul and El Camino universe, the Walter White universe, is probably my favourite TV show ever, by a mile. So yeah, I mean, I even have a Breaking Bad mug, so pretty obsessed with it. But yeah, Better Call Saul, the final season, yeah, it's just great. I mean, like, Walter White's arc was concluded like so well. You know, we saw this man go from this sort of mild-mannered, wimpy, pushover, almost kind of bloke, just this really decent man, family man, turn into an absolute fucking demonic sociopath. And it was done so gradually and so well that it was just very blended. It was just the way they done it. It wasn't just he's good and now he's a nutter. It was slow. It was this gradual process where he was good and then sort of was good but was less of a pushover, still good, but now he's a badass, now he's in the grey area, now he's in the grey evil, now he's in evil, you know. And it was great, because that's how the real human psyche works. You don't just go from like being mild-mannered, loving, caring and law-abiding to the fault, and then, you know, an absolute sociopathic murderer overnight. It takes time, years of exposure to stuff, and it was done really well. And it was the same thing with Jesse, really. His arc and how it concluded in El Camino, it was done super well. And Vince Gilligan is an absolute genius. Probably one of the best writers of this generation. He just gets it. He just gets people. And Jesse, you know, is this naive sort of kid who sort of sees the world of crime and drug dealing and the underworld via this sort of glorified version of it on TV and computer games and hip-hop music. And then obviously across the show he matures and realizes just how untrue that is, and just it's not cool or glamorous. It is scary and sadistic and PTSD inducing, and yeah, it's nothing to glorify or joke about. And the way he matures and grows up and realizes that, and then starts to sort of deteriorate, and then sort of wants to distance himself from these maniacs, is done so well. And he finally gets his peace at the end of El Camino. And now it brings me on to Gus Fring and Saul, who the show focuses on. They are the main characters, Gus Fring and Saul, even though they never meet in the show. As far as I remember, it's a long show, but it's done so well again. And that's kind of the focus I wanted to take this video on, because at the end of the day, I don't know what's going to happen in season 6, and I'm not gonna watch 5 seasons of Better Call Saul just to make one video. So I can't remember absolutely everything that's happened. So I kind of just wanted to focus on one thing, and that's the arc of characters. And that's what Vince Gilligan does so incredibly well is character building and character arcs and character transformation. And yeah, I just wanted to focus on that. And this is what happened to Saul, and how you don't agree with it, just like you don't agree with any of Walter White's decisions or any of Jesse's decisions. You don't agree with their arc, apart from Jesse obviously, but you can understand it. At least you can get a grasp on it, which I really like. And at the end of the day, it's done so well with Saul, because Saul starts off as a kid, a teenage kid, or even younger, and he is a bit of a git, but he's good-hearted. He's got a good heart. Basically, he's a bit cheeky. He's a thief. He's a schemer, and he starts off small time. He loves it, but eventually, these schemes and these dodgy dealings he has as a young teenager and a kid, they land him in prison. And he goes to prison. Then his older brother Chuck is this polar opposite of Saul, which I really like. And I think that's what makes character relationships so good, is having two polar opposites have to deal with each other. And he's kind of ends up being what Saul wants to be, this glamorized lawyer, pillar of justice. He wants to genuinely turn his life around. And his brother is this slick, clean-shaven, well-groomed, charismatic bloke. You know, he's the main man lawyer, and he's respected and loved. And he wants to be that, because he realizes that he's going nowhere with his own life. As much as he loves it, he's got a natural gift for manipulation, scheming, plotting, and just being a bit of a dirtbag, but not a bad bloke. But it goes wrong. And, you know, he works really hard. He gets a law degree, you know, works his way as a junior role and works his way up to be a solicitor. However, he's shunned all the time because of his past. So he's never truly accepted. And he's never truly accepted because of his past, because of who he was, Slippin' Jim. And he realizes that he's never going to be accepted with all these high-end toffs, you know, these stuck-up people who don't respect him because of who he was. And he took a shortcut. He got his degree through a dodgy way. And that's Saul's downfall, is that being a sneaky rat doesn't get him anywhere. And then he tries to be reformed, but because he was a sneaky rat, it doesn't get him anywhere. And because of the way he got it, it doesn't get him anywhere. But it's just in his nature, he can't help it. And what he realizes is that I'm a sneaky rat, people hate me. I try and be my brother, and people still don't accept me because I was a sneaky rat. So why not just be both? And that is the character of Saul. Do you know what I mean? And he realizes that society doesn't represent the Sauls of the world. You know, the rats, the schemers, the petty criminals. And he realizes that he is one of them. And so he creates the firm Saul Goodman Firms, so he can sort of represent those marginalized people who he feels he belongs to. And it's brilliant. It's so good. But of course his whole arc is supposed to be about how his behavior is causing him to lose everything and push everyone away. And it's going to culminate in season 6. So it's really good. And it's the same thing with Gus Fring. How did he build this empire? He used to be at war with Hector Salamanca. What was that about? And that's done so well with this, again, polar opposites, with this nutter in Hector Salamanca, the guy in the wheelchair before his stroke, and then this extreme, meticulous, organized, level-headed, calm, hyper-intelligent person in Gus. And I really, really like that. And I think that's what Vince Gilligan does best, is working with polar opposites. You have Jesse and Walt. You have Saul and his brother. I can't remember his name though, which is bad, I know. And then you have Gus and Hector. And that's what makes his writing so good. Because writing is at its best when they're dealing with confrontation. And what better way to create confrontation than having polar opposites? And I think that's what he does really, really well. But what I like about Better Call Saul is there's this grey area with his girlfriend. She kind of wants to be this respected lawyer, but is also kind of being seduced and corrupted by Saul. So their relationship, I like to see how that ends, or where that goes, because obviously his girlfriend isn't in Breaking Bad. So yeah, and I really want Nacho to survive. Poor Nacho, man. He's the Jesse of Better Call Saul, bless him. He's not as innocent as Jesse, and he's not as much of a moron. He's actually very intelligent, but he is the Jesse of Better Call Saul. So yeah, I really, really can't wait for this. Just to see this universe and this arc complete, really. Because obviously Better Call Saul is mentioned a lot in Breaking Bad about these characters' pasts, and now we get to see it, and I'd just love to see how it ends. And of course, Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul are reprising their roles as Walter White and Jesse Pinkman for a cameo appearance in the season finale. So yeah, I'm sure the inner fanboy and nerd in me will leap up into the air when I see them. And yeah, wicked. That's kind of my talk about Better Call Saul, coming this Tuesday night on Netflix. So yeah, go and bloody watch it. Take care. Peace.